yeah, I got time and this and that. I'm looking like, dude, you gotta be ready when you messing with me.
Mm,
But
it
yeah,
was fun though.
oh, we had so much fun. We had so much fun. Yeah. So we are getting ready to get started with the men. We have men in the audience, young men in the audience that may not want to speak, but they're here. But again, so welcome. What you said, Gerard? Why you put him on blast? So anyway, welcome back everyone to Stories of Heroes. I am your host, Lashana Alfred. And again, this is all about the men and one another's, you know what I'm saying, craft. So I come from, I come from a clinical background. And so a lot of times when I make comments or ask questions or different things like that, it's not coming from a male female perspective. It's coming from a clinical perspective. So without further ado, and if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask questions. And without further ado, the men. So we're talking about how to cope with disagreements in relationships of various kinds. Can we get a round of applause for
Yeah.
the man? Yes, yes, yes. And men that are watching, if you, so we created this is a safe place, right? And we know that the cameras are rolling and all of that stuff, but we wanted to create a safe place for men to be able to come in and just talk, right? Talk about how they feel without being judged, without their spouses having something to say, all of that. So here we go. All right. How do you
I like
bounce back?
I like that last comment without their spouses. Everybody looked at me.
That sounds real good. That don't.
Anyway, today there was an incident. No matter how polished or professional and loved that you think you are, uh, myself and my spouse, we had a disagreement, and in the disagreement, I found myself in a place where I felt that I had to defend myself, particularly in an area that I thought that I had expertise in. And so I think I laid the pendulum down and it was clear, but that was not the case. My spouse, she did not understand or did not envision what I was saying publicly. And so it caused a breach. It caused me to say, well, doggone, I've been doing this for a while, and I need you to trust me here. She kept saying, well, I don't see what you're talking about. And I said, well, doggone, these are formula. When you're laying board feet or you're laying those kind of things, those are measurables, and so they speak for themselves. Me not understanding that she did not see the depth of what 24 feet might be. She did not see what 45 feet might be, or in her imagining, and I didn't do a good job explaining it. Here's the deal. I felt in some kind of way, and this took place publicly around people that I did not know as well. And I'm trying to stress this point. We talked about this before we even came out here. And the issue was when people look for agreement, they look for somebody else to agree. And so the funny part about it is that she says, well, look at this. What's your opinion? Now, me being as a professional, I'm saying to myself and to them, like, I don't need your opinion. I know what I'm talking about here. I may not have been clear and give you a vision, but the vision wasn't for you.
Right.
It was me knowing what I was doing professionally. And so it went back and forth and back. When I'm saying to myself, after a while, I got frustrated or mad. As my wife said, you got in your feelings, so I just forget it. Here's the deal. I still could have been in that position right now where I said, forget it.
Right.
I know my dimensions. I know my measurement. I needed you to trust me, and I believe that you didn't. And then you inclusinated somebody else to come in with their opinion.
Right.
Here's the bounce back. When she told me her side and cleared it up, I still felt in a certain way, but then I have to say I had to trust my spouse that she meant me well. I had to take ownership okay, maybe I did not explain it in that manner that she got a clear vision. And so what I'm saying to you, a lot of times in our arguments, sometimes we just have to bag out and see it from the other side. And that's what I did. And I said, well, babe, I'm sorry for not presenting a clear vision, but I thought you was trusting me in my ability to make happen. And so a lot of times us as men, we'll go to another level and say, well, forget it then. I'm going to shut it down. And I was so glad that she taught me in therapy, in the things that she says, okay, because that wasn't going to be resolved there. That would have been something that had been brewing and dripping like adrenaline and come back in some other form next week. So I was glad I was able to apologize, and I was glad that she was able to give me clarity as where I was weak at in my explanation. Right. And I had to accept that. And I'm telling you guys, sometimes you just have to swallow it. Any other comments on that one?
Well, let me just say this, and then I want you to comment. So he did not apologize, and he was still feeling some type of way. I just wanted to
Not at the place. I'm talking about in the office.
Yeah, you didn't apologize.
Oh, well, I'm on live air. I am so sorry. I understand what you're saying now.
Okay.
But I was so animate, like, you didn't say it this way. I can't believe that. I do apologize.
No, it's okay.
Well, you must want me to.
I want to make sure we're being clean. And
Yes, clean and clear.
Right.
And then when he told the story, it really wasn't going like that, but I'm just going to give y'all the space. It's okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Wayne.
Okay.
That's the problem when you have your wife in the room.
It didn't go that way.
That's pity me. I thought it went that way.
Okay. So, first and foremost, I'm a very firm believer that communication is key to any healthy relationship.
Absolutely.
Communication. And as far as a relationship goes, relationships are built on trust and communication. Mm-hmm. So, mind you, that trust is a two-way street. So, in the same sense where you wanted her to trust what you were saying, right? You needed him to communicate to you in a way that you could understand his vision, because you heard it, but you couldn't see it, right? Mind you, and he stayed a little upset in the moment, because mind you, emotions were still running high. He was still feeling some type of way. But once he took that moment to take a step back and think about what happened, think about and put himself in your shoes, then that's when he apologized later, right?
Even now. Say right.
Right.
We're waiting for an amen on that.
Amen.
We're waiting for an amen there.
So I think that in the situation, I can't really say that either person necessarily was wrong. It wasn't even a wrong type of thing. It was just a miscommunication. Okay. So mind you, like I said, you had your vision. You knew what you were doing. You knew the way that you wanted to do it, but she couldn't see it. So I'm guessing that maybe knowing your partner and knowing like in which ways that she understands things or which ways to reach her. Because some people you can explain something to and you can tell them and they're like, oh yeah, I got it. Some people you gotta actually show them something on paper.
Yeah, she's visual.
See, so she's high visual. So I'm guessing in a situation like that, I guess having like, I don't know, a blueprint or having some type of app on your phone you can draw up a thing. I mean, that could have been something that possibly could have maybe negated the argument, so to speak. But I mean, arguments are parts of life. Sometimes you don't always agree.
To be honest, Walt, I don't know, because it was so clear to me, and the fact of the matter that she was trying to present a vision to me, and the part that really got it really going is that she's seen my work over and over the decades of me doing this. And so I have an idea pretty much of what I see her vision here already. But me not being able to articulate it caused it to go one way and another way, and I wasn't like, no, okay. But that's one of the things, and I thought for that trust, because she's seen my work, because she's seen what I do and done before, and because she's actually walked on my runway boards herself, she would understand, listen, certain things I don't care about opinion about, especially if I'm building, Now, if you're trying to do a skit or something like that, okay, that's flexibility. But the foundation of what we're going to walk in, I got that. I got that. And I thought I was kind of like put out there on that, me personally.
Do you think maybe she wanted to see something different from what you always do? Like maybe
That could be.
She wanted to put her own touch on whatever you guys had planned. Maybe she wanted to do her side of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That happened the first time because where I was going to set it up, I was going to set it up a totally different way with the same measurements in mind. She said, babe, I don't understand. We didn't see it this way. This is where I want it. So I said, okay, I can see that. I saw that. But then the dimensions of it never changed, is what I'm saying to me in my heart. It never changed. And that's what caused the rough.
Now, let me help you understand what really caused it. Notice, because when I listen, I need y'all to be able to listen and really listen to when you're in your relationships, right? It really, the thing that caused it was because he said initially, I got offended because I felt she didn't trust me, right? That right there threw off the whole flow, right? Because I got offended. Now, notice also what he said, I know his word. So if I'm asking questions, you got to know I'm not challenging your work. I'm just wanting to understand it. Right. But because of what you was telling your own self, it created this tension with yourself because I was still cool. You see what I'm saying? So that's where y'all have to begin. When we're talking about disagreements in relationships, you got to be able to see like, okay, wait, what just triggered me? Because again, I'm the visionary. Like even in this room, I had to show him what I seen. Now he created this stage right there, and I said, well, I seen me walking up the middle, right? He came back and he did it to where I was able to walk up the middle. Right. So if I'm the visionary and I'm telling you what I see, and you're not clearly articulating what you're trying to get me to understand, so essentially it was like this. So I know left, right, front, back. He know east, west. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. So I told him, I said, it's like if I'm in Detroit and I'm lost. Right. And I said, babe, which way do I turn? Left or right? And you keep saying east. You're not going to get me because I don't understand that language. So he kept saying 24 inches, 24. I said, let's count the boards. So it was just the communication is key, y'all. The communication is key in any relationship.
Yeah. I think most of the time, like, I'm not saying, listen, I feel like we get in our feelings a lot, though, for real. For real. I know y'all, women always say man ain't supposed to be emotional or sensitive or whatever, right? But when our partner is telling us that we know we're right, and our partner is telling us that we wrong, this is the way that it should be or whatever, we seem to take an offense to it, for real. Easier than we should. I just think sometimes we should just take time out and jump back to it, for real. Just like you did, though.
Yeah, but see, the one thing that I found out earlier in dialogue and things such as that is that one thing, I couldn't stay there. I couldn't stay in my emotions, whether it was later on or I don't have a problem saying that I was out of order and how I responded to it. You know, she was absolutely right. You're both right. You're seeing it from this side. I'm seeing it from that side. What I'm looking at as far as my perception is real to me. Doesn't make it real to her. And so now I've been trying to teach people all the time that it's not about your perception as much as it's your perspective. And so now I'm trying to relate a perspective to her, but, you know, by the fact that if I'm calculating board feet, most people don't know what board feet mean anyway. You know, so I'm like, okay, well, how can I make this? And then I say, okay, well, let's do 24 by 12. You know, okay, that ain't registered. So now it seems like to me I'm out of options because it's so clear. And so now when I get to her and I'm trying to get a feedback from her, she's like, I don't see 24 feet. I don't know what that means to me.
Here's the other part. Yes. The boards were there.
Well, they were different.
The boards were there. They were not different, only the height. But
no, the boards were there. What was out there was 16 by 16. And you're trying to show me 16 by 16, and we're trying to make it 24 by 12.
All I was saying was at the boards. He couldn't even see that. But deeper is what you were saying, Devin, when you get in your emotions and you get caught up in right, it blinds you. You cannot even see another way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not one that's going to be trying to elicit from other people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get clarity. I don't even have to be right. I counsel a lot of people, right, in divorce court, going on their way to divorce court because somebody wanted to be right. And that's one thing we said in our marriage, the first in the beginning. We're not going to get caught up on who's right.
right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't mind. I'm humble enough to say I don't need to be right, but I do need to understand.
Right.
And I just want you to communicate in a way where I understand. That's all that is.
Yeah.
And I didn't do that very well. I just didn't.
I mean, sometimes we got to take the time and come on back to the drawing board, though.
But see, that's what, right.
That's what we got to do.
But see, that's where I couldn't even now maintain that position as saying that I'm right. Okay, I apologize. I didn't see it the way she saw it. I didn't know that that meant a whole lot to her. This is concrete. This is formulated.
right.
Yeah.
12 by 12 and 8 board by 4 board is going to equate to this no matter how you flop it, turn it up.
Right,
it's still going to equate to this space. You know, and that's what I was trying to. I got over animated in that and saying, but anyway, the apology, I hope you accept the apology. This is live, y'all. Yeah. I hope you accept the apology because this happened today in front of mixed crowd and everything. And you cannot basically be therapists or in that kind of husband and wife, and you out there with your tail showing publicly.
Right.
And this is what I was telling the women that was there, right? The women that was there, I said, a lot of times what happens in relationships, when one of the partners get in their feelings, the other person tend to get in their feelings.
Yeah.
And so you're fighting fire with fire.
Right.
I just maintain. I'm like, okay, I seen he got, he was in his feelings. I figured he was going to get out of them. You know what I'm saying? But because I understand, who I am, what I do, and the work that I've done on the inside of me, right, is that I'm able to maintain and not fight fire with fire. Right. But sometimes that does get, where you feel like, man, I'm always the one trying to be reasonable, you know what I'm saying, and that type of thing. But that's one of the things I was telling, the other wives, right, that was there. Like, listen, you just can't match that energy. It'll be okay, and you got to trust that they'll come back, realize and see it, so y'all can continue to move forward.
Now, how long would you say it should take for them to come back to it?
I've learned really not to even put no time on it, right? Like, to be honest, we gonna be honest here. This is first time talking about it,
right,
like the way he's talking about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's been in his feelings all day. Because we went this morning after, you know what I'm saying? We went this morning. So he's been in his feelings all day. We haven't even talked about it. So this is the first time. And I was cool. I don't measure. I don't say, okay, it got to be this many hours. It got to be this. I just give him his space. And when you ready, because I'm not in my feelings, we can communicate when you ready.
But did you show him that you wasn't in your feelings?
Oh, he
did
knew
you
I
know
wasn't.
That she wasn't in her feelings, though?
When I get in to my feeling, I really don't give I'm kind of like Anthony. You better bag the hell up. I mean, it could win, And so, wait a minute. So when you get to my age as well, like, okay, well, we did that last week. I ain't got to worry about that, so I can stay in my feelings. Come on now.
Okay.
I'm just saying. So.
And when he do that, I'll be like, don't say nothing
Don't
to
say
your
nothing
doctor
now.
about your liver hurting.
But here's the deal. See, really the reality of it all, I'm apologizing because I didn't communicate and made it clear. Right. But what I was talking about was foundational truth.
Right. Absolutely.
And so I'm saying to myself, well, how come you can't?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so now I got upset because I didn't apologize. I got into my feelings because I'm saying, well, I've been doing this for decades.
You took it personal.
I took it personal that you didn't know what I was doing. Failing to understand that it wasn't about me not knowing what I was doing. It was my inability to make her desires known or her visions known to her that I understand what you're saying. I stayed on 4 feet, for this, for that, and I stayed right there. And so that's what really took a while for me. Like, man, you didn't challenge my knowledge here. I think I'd improve over and over, not just this set, but other sets that I set up before. And so I'm saying, like, well, you're challenging me. And then you're going to involve somebody else, like, what the hell they know? That's me.
So now you feel like you're being attacked.
Well, I don't know if it's being attacked. I'm saying I don't feel like hearing that.
Right.
And so I responded kind of another out of order. Well, how many stages you set up? You see what I'm saying? How many have you done for you to get on this and tell me that I'm not, doing what I know that's supposed to be done correctly? And so that's, boy, when you got in the feelings, then it was like, now I'm in somebody else's feelings as well.
Right.
Yeah. And look, and I was still cool.
Yes, it was cool.
Yeah.
So I was still cool.
Yeah.
Because all he had to say was, babe, I'm going to turn the boards this way. I mean, the boards were there.
Right.
I'm going to turn the boards this way and give you exactly what you want. I trust him to do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when we were off and they were saying some stuff that was like obvious and he couldn't see the obvious, I was like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Because all I said was, we can put 3 tables
See,
here. He said, no, it's not going to work. I'm like,
Because you're putting it on, all I'm trying to get you to understand in this here, and this is what really kind of upset and agitated me.
Yeah.
You're dealing 16 by 16. That's not the same. If I can put an 8-foot board, 8 by 4 over here and an 8 by 4 over there, they're not going to match up because you're seeing 16 by 16. You're not seeing 8 by 12.
Right.
And so the matchup of boards, that's what I was saying, that's not going to work if you put another board on this end and you put another board on that end. This is all I was saying, and that's what I couldn't comprehend. We're not talking about these boards that were there because they would not be there.
so now, men,
Yes.
when you think about conversations you've had with your wife,
Yeah.
right? And you felt as if she didn't understand you or as if she was offending you.
Right.
What do you normally do?
I usually listen. Most of the time when I feel like she don't understand me, I think I try to explain it a little bit more. But if then she don't get it, then normally I'll get upset just the same way.
Okay.
But then I always realize that every time I get upset, I always end up at apologizing later on because, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, babe, I usually take it like I'm really in my feelings. So because I'm really in my feelings, she say something, I want to say something on top of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's how things get carried away.
Yeah.
Instead of just back off from it and then come back to it like I said earlier.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We start now. You yelling, I'm yelling. You talking, I'm talking. Neither one of us is listening to each other. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes she'll say, look, like, if you talking when I'm talking, I can't hear you. You can't hear me and I can't hear you. You know what I'm saying? So why don't you just be quiet for a minute and let me talk? Or I'll just be like, there you go, because now I'm talking and you can't, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think we should like really think about, like, most of the time we get into arguments, it can be avoided.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? If one of us would just settle down and listen.
Yes.
So-
Yes. Because the art always has to be peace.
Right.
Right? Like, I don't want my peace interrupted. I don't want to interrupt your peace.
Right.
But sometimes we can like drama. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, right? We can be used to that. Even though we're saying we don't like the feeling, that's just a go-to, a defense mechanism that we go to. And so those of you who are watching and those of you who are in relationship, somebody has to calm down, right? To listen. Somebody has to calm down and listen. Because at the end of the day, it's, do I want my peace interrupted?
Right.
And do I want my relationship altered at the end of the day? Okay?
Right. I feel that.
All right.
I know typically, like, when I feel myself starting to get, like, I'm starting to get upset, I'm starting to get angry, I've noticed I'm yelling, I'm like, you know what? Let's just agree to disagree, or let's table the conversation for now and go back, regroup, reassess, and then try it again later. Or maybe I'll have some time to think about it. About, okay, was I explaining this in a bad way? Maybe I wasn't explaining the way that she understands. Let me think about how could I get my point across to her in a way to where she'll understand it. So then that way we're not sitting here constantly going back and forth, like pretty much wasting our time yelling at each other about, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like, so I feel like that sometimes you gotta go back to the corner, you know, kind of like a boxer in a fight. You know, sometimes it's like, hey, all right, ding, round's over with. All right, go to the corner. Go to your corner, sit down, get some water, take a moment, take a breather, calm yourself back down. Because once your emotions start getting involved and stuff, you start getting angered and frustrated. All the logic goes out the window.
Yes.
Logic's gone.
It's gone.
Boom.
It's
That's
gone.
gone. Now it's not even about what y'all were talking about anymore.
Right.
Now it's about I gotta win. I'm going to win. I'm going to win this. I'm winning this. It's not. And that's the thing. Like in a scenario like that, both people lose.
Absolutely.
Right.
One of the things, Walt, and I want to tag in on Devin, once you get to a place of emotion, here's the deal. If she says anything that I believes again or anybody else says something while I'm still in emotion, and it's not so much as I want to be right as much as I need you to understand what I'm saying.
Right.
Maybe I didn't pose it right, and I tried to redirect it, and that's where the frustration comes in at. But now that I'm doing this, and then somebody tell me, well, you need to be quiet. Oh, God, pump it up some more. Wait a minute.
Don't do that.
No, don't do that. Most men can't take
Don't.
that when you're trying to shut it down.
Right.
You need to hush. Oh, no. No, men are not good. What'd you say, Walt? what did you say? Here's Mr. Laidback.
Right, yeah,
and he
yeah,
said
yeah.
like,
Yeah, that's what the other. Yeah, I've had my moments.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Like
so
I said, yeah.
you know, that's all I'm saying. So even when I'm trying to, men try to, pull it back, and I ain't got there yet, and then somebody, well, you need to be quiet because you don't understand yourself. Oh God, man, here I come again.
Right.
Here I come again, and that's something that I don't know what to do about. If anybody heard that, therapist?
That's-
Did anybody say to you, be quiet?
No, but see, I'm just saying
Right.
that. But see, once men explain, this is for me. I don't know about y'all.
Okay.
Once I explain it to the best ability that I can explain it, and then I try to explain it again, and a lot of times another word may come in there because I'm trying to help the other person to understand, and they say, man, forget it. You don't know what you're talking about. It could be anything simple. And I'm like, okay, now, it's on now. It's on now. Anybody else on that?
It's a good conversation. I feel like if I'm in that situation, let's just say with my significant other, I'm starting to learn or to understand that if I have to repeat it 2 or 3 times, I might have to back off. I may have to back off because if you don't understand it at that time, either the communication is not there or we're missing something, and then eventually it'll come. If we're having a conversation. So for me, it's a matter of understanding, like, okay, either I'm not explaining something right, or we need to take a break for a minute and then see if we can come back to it. If it's what somebody else is just like, okay, if you ain't understanding, I can't talk. I can't express it because you're not saying what I'm saying, or I'm not saying what you're saying. And eventually, like I say, either we get to a point or we just let it go because we're not going back and forth about it. Like, that's it. I like the process of, you tell me to shut up or whatever the case may be. I might just be like, you know what, at this point, I ain't got to talk to you because it's not a big deal. If it doesn't bother you, then it's not going to bother me, period. So.
In that, now watch this, and my wife brought it to the forefront, there is no time zone on it. But I found out that I don't think we can agree to disagree in elements on a consistent basis because it's going to come back. It's going to come back, and it's going to come back with double force because it was an unresolved issue to begin with. And so I don't like, if I can't resolve, and that's one thing that me and my wife used to go have problems with because I'm trying to get it together that night. Now, maybe I done stepped off the cliff, and you can see my scratch marks going down the rocks. I'm trying to catch myself. But before I go to bed, it's not because of ministry or church, what the scripture says is this, man, I just don't want this to go to the next day. And a lot of times I went too far and I didn't collapse that receptivity from my wife. And now I got to like, okay, this is what it is now. So I always try to look for a resolution. And sometimes, as she has taught me, if I'm the one who messed it up, I don't have the right to give her a timetable when we can communicate again. Especially if I'm the one who messed it up. And now I'm going to set my sand, I like the sands of the hourglass, so are the days of my life, and I flip it over. And I say to them, okay, it's been a day, it's been 2 days. We should be like talking right now.
Right.
And she's still like, until you give me a proper apology. Now I done forgot what the original was, and so now I end up apologizing for something that she's not even upset about. And I'm just saying you cannot allow that to process for days, because days can turn into a week. A week can turn in, and then after she shuts down or I shut down, and both, depending on what kind of woman you got or partner you got, it's like, I don't give a damn now whether we ever talk. I done got used to not talking. Matter of fact, I got used to getting in my car and doing this and going there and coming in, waiting till you go on to bed or go downstairs. I done got used to this now, and which makes it an event and more difficult.
But you know what? That is so messy, though. For real.
Man,
if you step back and look at it, just vision it right, that is so messy.
Oh my.
Because, for one, she ain't sleeping at night, right? And you ain't sleeping. So it's like, what do I do? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. We get in our feelings to where sometimes we really hurt ourselves. You know what I'm saying? When we get upset at our wives, we put ourselves in that situation where we hurt ourselves, because half of the time we the one who be so hot on the inside, and they don't chill out already.
They go.
You know what I'm saying? Like we get hot, and I ain't talking to her. She ain't saying nothing to me. I ain't saying nothing either. And I'm like, even with me, because I'm like, when we argue, when we do get into a little tiff or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because I love my wife. Even though we get into a little thing.
That's a whole problem.
That's my babe right there. But when we get in a little thing, it's like, this is what we do. This is what I do. I get upset. I turn around. I walk downstairs, and I'm not coming back up until I hear her not being upstairs in the other floor. You know what I'm saying? So when she go to bed, then I'll be like, okay, she's asleep now, so now I'll go to bed. You know what I'm saying? So then the next day, we get up. We not saying nothing. She don't say nothing. I'll say, good morning. She'll give me that dry good morning. And I'll be like, you know what? I ain't even playing this. I'm going back down the basement. So it's the same thing. Instead of me getting out my feelings and like, babe, come on, let's sit down and talk about this or whatever, it'd be like, you'd be so selfish to where you forget it.
That's a good word there.
And I think we need to get out of ourselves more.
That's a good word.
And
I like that.
start being out there for real.
Seriously.
Reaching out to our wives is the most important thing, because if she's happy, you happy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And it's interesting, too, because I kind of knew Sam was probably going to bring it up. I wasn't going to bring it up. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, it's his thing. Like, that ain't my situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So even something like that could have gotten big.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It
Like,
could.
he could have, stayed in his feelings, felt like I ain't care and this and that. All of them some simple communication.
Right.
I believe anything can be resolved with some communication,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm not going to be in a relationship with someone who intentionally wants to hurt me.
Right.
So if I'm hurt, I'm missing something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not staying with you if you intentionally trying to hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of things can really be resolved with some simple communication.
Yeah.
We got to get out of our feelings.
No,
Yes.
I got a question though. Do the man gotta get out their feelings first, or do the woman? I mean, do we choose to see who get out the feelings first, though?
It depends, right? Because like today, I wasn't in my feelings.
Right.
And I wasn't going to approach him with it because I was going to allow him to get through whatever he had going on.
Absolutely.
Because he told my assistant he was still feeling some type of way. He
Absolutely.
like vented to people. I'm hoping he ain't vented to clients, but he
No,
vented
no,
to
not
people.
the clients.
Okay, all
No,
right.
I know
But
better
he
than that.
vented to people
Right.
about him feeling. I was like, okay.
This
he'll be all
those
right.
who this know those
Yeah.
who know.
Yeah, personal
Because
relationships.
what I'm really doing at that time is I'm trying to get a release valve.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I need a release valve because I can't keep this bottled up. Even if they ain't listening, if they just do this here,
Right.
close their ears, close
Right.
their eyes, I got to get this off of me because
Right.
it's that adrenaline is dripping.
Yeah.
That adrenaline is still dripping. It's still dripping, looking for a way to explode. And if you're a male, and particularly a black male, we already got issues going anyway. I mean, a lot of people don't understand that adrenaline can kill you. It can give you high blood pressure.
Yep.
It can make your
I'm telling
immune
you.
system bad, and I already got a messed up immune system. And so you can get sick behind adrenaline, constantly drip,
Right.
drip. So sometimes I have to, okay, release valve.
Here's
Yes.
a question for you.
Okay.
Why didn't you feel either safe or think it appropriate to go to the person? So to go to your spouse instead of for that release valve instead of going to someone else.
Well, I didn't go to someone else. That's a good question, and I hope I don't confuse you on my answer. That was first available.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
It was first. That was somebody that was first available that knew both of us.
Yeah.
And knew that we were going to get through this. I didn't go to a stranger and say,
Right.
listen, no.
Right.
I went to somebody who knows both of us.
Right.
And so I felt safe there. I did feel safe with that because what I was talking about, if you wasn't there, you wouldn't like, oh, man, that sounds like, I got gas bill due. I need gas in the car. That ain't going to be a great thing, me talking about riser boards and that kind of stuff.
Right.
So, but for me, it was just a release valve so that I can just get this off of me. I got to talk it out.
Right.
So is it fair to say, because a lot of women may be watching, who's like, okay, they're in a relationship with guys who don't express their emotions. So is it fair to say that most men, when they're feeling some type of way, even if they're not talking to their partner, they're talking to somebody about it? Is that fair to say?
Sometimes in some scenarios, but then again, too, I don't think that necessarily can be a bad thing. It just depends on who it is you're talking to.
Right.
Correct.
Because even if you can't, even if let's say given a moment, in the heat of the moment, you feel like you can't talk to you can't talk to your spouse or your significant other because you're looking at them like, oh, that's the culprit right there.
Yeah.
Why don't I want to go talk to them? You know, yeah, you the reason I'm mad. So my thing is, you might need to first maybe vent, let some of the steam out,
that's what it's.
calm it down first, because like I was saying earlier, when you reacting and saying and doing things while you're in that energy still, the logic ain't there.
No.
So the things you're gonna be saying, you might say some stuff you wouldn't even necessarily mean to say, but you're just upset.
Yeah.
You're mad.
Okay.
You feel like you need to get that off because you feel some type of way right now.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So then, should we be telling the women, right? They shouldn't get upset if they find out that their significant other partner maybe have vented whatever they was going through to somebody else that they trusted. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes they need. I know that's the whole thing, right?
See, and that wouldn't be an absolute because the wife can say, well, I didn't need them to know my business. I didn't need to know that we had some issues. And then why in the hell are you going to go to that? Of all the people I don't know that. I'm just selfish, as we said,
Right.
trying to vent. I'm not thinking about y'all
Right.
two relationship
Right.
and how you don't say X and Z or Y to that
Right.
person. I'm just venting because I'm being selfish.
Right. Right.
But I know I need it off me.
Right.
I like
Okay.
that. Okay.
No, he right. That's just. I mean, that's pretty much what I was about to say anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because when we get upset, you gotta find somebody who know you and know your partner. You know what I'm saying? Kitty backing off of what you say, because if you got to make sure they got good intentions towards your marriage. Because if they got the wrong intention, they gonna tell you, man, I wouldn't take this, man. I wouldn't.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And then your friend, if she got the wrong intention, she gonna tell you the same thing. And you definitely don't want to go to a single woman talk. As a man, we don't want to sit down and talk to a single woman about our problem.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Or folks get upset when, and actually you really don't want to bring your family, your parent or your family into it, because then it's a bad situation already.
Because they ain't understanding.
Because they don't understand, right? You know what I'm saying?
Still love your partner.
Right.
They give you some erratic information
saying? So
that's gonna mess you
it's
up.
best.
I didn't like her anyway.
Well, I about to say, or not even just that.
Yeah.
Like they may hold a grudge.
Right.
Y'all could be all good and everything's all fine, and guess what? At the family reunion, all the eyeballs are staring her down. Like, there she go. Look at her.
Absolutely.
There she go.
I've been there before.
A lot of men don't even talk about it. They just hold it all in.
And that's what this forum is all about.
That's what make it bad, though.
It does make it bad.
Yeah.
I know for a fact. I am one of those people that was always holding it all in, and what it does is it turns you to a time bomb.
Right.
And so then it takes for just the smallest, littlest thing. And the next thing you know, it's like an avalanche.
Yeah.
And they're looking like, whoa, was it really that serious? I mean, the spoon was dirty. Really? All of this over? But no, it wasn't about that spoon. It was about all the different things because you weren't talking about it. And it built up.
And that's what me and my son, a lot of times I have to learn my boy as much as anybody else. And a lot of times it's not me directing it at him, but, I hold him in such a regard, and I'm expecting great things out of him, and then I see something that I felt that he should have done automatically. Right. Here I go, Sam, what? And then it chases him away because it makes me seem like a dad that's not caring about him, and that's that drip. Man, this thing been. I wanted to say something to him last week about this. Yeah. I just let it go, and here it is before me again. Right. Yeah. And he just don't. No, man. And I know when I'm in trouble, when I have that inside conversation with myself, as if I'm talking to him or somebody else. I'm sitting here talking about that dude, man. I don't know when I'm gonna do with this dude, man. He doing, and I'm already revved up. And so when I see the next thing, that's not healthy. Family out there, TV. That's not healthy. Do not have that inward conversation where you already preparing some things that you may say or do for the next thing that you know for a fact is going to happen. Yep. Not healthy.
Because then the other thing happened, right? Well, let me just say this. First of all, it's unattractive to the mom, right? Because at the end of the day, the mom is still looking at what man is in this house that's not loving my kids the way I love them. Right?
Okay.
So it's unattractive, number one. Number two, depending on what's going on. So, for example, I'll use one, and he don't even know about this, so this is my first time sharing it. So, I know.
Do I need to step out or am I gonna get mad? I just got unmad. Am I getting ready to go part 2? I might not survive this.
You'll be okay. You got the red mic. It's okay. You're good. You're all good. You got the red mic. You get the right mic. Yeah.
Okay, so he come home, right? And we was all kind of like taking it. I was sick all day yesterday, like laying in the bed. And so I heard him get, like, our son, they must have, met each other in the hallway or whatever. First thing he said was, something about the trash, right? So then I'm like, okay, because I had him bring pizza yesterday.
Okay.
So he get in the room, and the whole energy changed. So outside is like, you get the trash, like, you moves on your car, you did it, Then he come in the room, baby, baby, right? So then I'm like, well, did you ask him, did he eat? I was just saying, like, did the kids eat? I don't know. Oh, but the trash went out. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's my thought. The trash went out, but you don't know if they ate. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm just saying that's what makes it, like, for me, unattractive. Because you becking at my every need. You know what I'm saying? You making sure I'm good. And I'm like, I know you love me. The kids is the one, to me, that needs to know that they're loved. Right. You know what I'm saying? So.
I think I got that bad. For real. I know I got that bad. I ain't even gonna say I think I got that bad. I know. Because I'll come in the house and I think I might expect more than I'm expecting more from my kids or from my family than what I should be. Because, they always say if you don't expect anything from them, you won't have to worry about being disappointed. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like I expect for that piece of paper that's on the floor not to be on the floor when I come home, or that spot on the refrigerator not to be on the refrigerator, because now I get into it myself, and I go upstairs. I'm upstairs. Hey, babe, how come she didn't do this? You know what I'm saying? Or how come y'all got this looking like this? And that's really just me being in myself.
Well, why do you feel that way?
Why do I feel
Why
the
do
way?
you feel that way about that?
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like everything should be perfect when I get home, and that's just me. That's just me not thinking about the fact that they make mistakes too.
Right. And I feel the same way because I'm the one who does the cleaning and the cooking. And I be working just as much and picking them up and taking them back. And so I'll take it, polish it up, clean this here, and then I come back and there's some stuff there. So I take it internally like, damn, why now you?
Right.
Why is that there?
Right.
Yeah.
You know you dropped that in the refrigerator when
right.
when it spilled, you seen it fall. Why close the refrigerator up, push the cup back?
Yeah,
What the crap?
Right.
Yeah.
And so that irritates me because now I'm feeling like, oh, I'm your bee now. Or I'm your maid now.
Yeah. Right,
You
right,
know, I'm
right.
supposed to wipe behind you and do this for you to keep it up. And I'm saying like, no, you're supposed to be taking care of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So now watch this. I gotta help y'all see
Right.
the other internal dialogue that be taking place that causes the confusion. He went into what? So now I'm your B, now I'm this and that. So if
Right.
I think that too, I'm gonna grab up.
Right.
But my thing is, okay, this is like this. I'm still gonna address it.
Mhm.
I'm just not gonna address it as if you intentionally did something to me.
Right.
So I'm just gonna say, hey, babe, did you waste that? He gonna say, oh, I didn't even realize it or whatever, or if he did, I'm like, okay, just get it up. Now I'm at upstairs doing work, whatever, everybody is peaceful. They getting it up.
Right.
But because he had this internal dialogue,
That's what it
he
is.
responds and he blows it up.
Right.
And the kid like, wait, hold on, what, Dad? You think I think you a bee? Like,
Right.
what? Because
Right,
I made
right.
a mistake and spilled
Right.
the tea?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
what?
Right.
Right.
And
See,
he pissed. He had a 10.
Right.
I'm at a
Right.
10.
Yeah.
Because I just think, honestly, it takes initiative to do that. Fathers. See, and I'm saying, you mean to tell me that you know that you put that there? You can't tell me that you didn't do that.
Come on,
And that's-
can I
and
get
the-
the kid? Can one of the kids kind of explain?
Can I,
Oh, good. Yeah.
Can I say
yeah.
something?
I would love to hear this.
What did
Yeah.
you do? Come on, grab the mic.
can I say something real quick though?
Yeah.
Before y'all say something?
sir.
This is me though. This is what I learned, right? This is what I learned from my therapist, right? They don't see things. We are dealing with a different generation that grows up differently from the way we was brought up. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
They don't see the things that we see that they do. You know what I'm saying? So they gonna do whatever the way they feel.
Think about it. Remember, I don't know if it was Dave or Sean who said, his dad was trying to teach him a lesson and punched him in his chest.
That was
Yeah.
Dave.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, wait, hold on, really, Dad? Like trying to prove something? So it's like, it's certain things we just didn't have a voice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When you think about it, we just didn't have a voice because we ain't had nobody
We
or nobody to run to because
Yep.
the moms back then probably really weren't saying
That-
nothing
nothing.
either. So it was a different type of, environment, generation, and
Right.
everything. But go ahead, young man. How you waste something or didn't take the trash out, didn't get the mail, and your dad go off. Is your thought, I ain't getting this trash or this mail because that's my dad. I don't know.
Well, I feel as like we should get like chances, not just go off one time because we didn't do that or forgot to do that. Like, I don't know how to say it, but it's like you feel like we just not doing nothing, just sitting in the house, like we just didn't come back from hours of school and stuff. You feel like you just been working all day and like we just been at home just sitting on our butt. And I feel like as kids too, we need breaks. We be tired just as much as y'all. Even though y'all work and stuff and providing for the family, we be much as tired as y'all.
I can understand that, but I believe that you have youth on your side. And here's the deal. Let's get clarity. Here's the deal. It's not that I get on you or get on family and fathers. Y'all, she's here to do the therapy part about it. It's not that it's the first time. If I continually to come back and this is not done or this is not done, and I say, okay, babe, make sure you get this done, and then I come back 2 days later, we back here again. See, that's the part that I don't think my son or people who may be in that position understand. And so that's why I say, man, I'm telling you, now you can forget, honestly. I know that you can forget things, but it shouldn't be a continuum. Right. It should not be a continuum. And then how do you show that you love me? How do you show it?
Oh, go ahead, Anthony.
I say it's a process. Usually, because I work a ton on a weekend, so what we have gained over the time since I go to work, and sometimes he might not speak to my significant other, so he'll call me. We'll have a conversation in the morning. He'd be like, "Dad, what do you want me to do?" There was one time where it was like, if he didn't do it, I would get upset. I'm like, you know what, dude, I told you to do A, B, and C. But then I had to start processing, like, okay, I can expect for him to do what I want him to do because I'm different. So when he calls me, he asks me what I need to do, I try to give him simple things. Wash your clothes, run a sweeper, do something simple. So I know that it's not going to distort me when I get home. It's the easy things. So if I come home and the vacuum's not ran, I'll be like, okay, you need to do that tomorrow. Or you need to make sure that it's done at some point. It's not me trying to assort myself at this time. And that's what I had to learn, especially when it comes to him. I had to learn how to process it in a way where he can understand it. Instead of me being like, you know what, I'm just tired of all this bull crap. I'm going to take the game, I'm going to take your phone, I'm going to take whatever. It's just a process.
Okay. Nothing. No, no. He's right there. I'm not saying. No. Well, I have 4 kids, and the ages range. The oldest being 15, the youngest being 3, and everyone have a different little jobs and chores that they're expected to do, and bedtime's 8:30. So after school and everything, I try to make certain that everyone does their chores, does things they need to do, everyone's eating, and everybody's ready for bed by bedtime. That means showers, clothes out, and all that stuff. Does it always work out like that way perfectly? No. No, it doesn't. Because kids are kids. Sometimes they forget things. Sometimes they may not do things exactly right. But what I do expect is for them to apply themselves. So at least take that initiative. At least as long as I know that you tried, we can work on that. Now, you blatantly, like, if I'm there and I see you come in the house, you take off your coat, you throw it on the floor, book bag, you throw it over here, kick your shoes off into the living room, go walking through. Hey, whoa. Oh, no. I don't know what, no. No, get your stuff. Yeah, get your stuff, put it up where it goes. Now, I know I can be a tornado myself sometimes when I do certain things because, like you, like to cook and different things like that. Sometimes I make messes. I try to clean up as I go as much as I can. Like my wife will attest, sometimes I'm like a little tornado. And I know that I need to work on that. I have been. And so in the same sense, I feel like that while I expect for them to apply themselves, I understand that sometimes they're not going to get it exactly right. And things aren't going to be exactly perfect. Nothing's perfect. I mean, it's life. So having to accept to understand that, I think, is very important. Very.
And I like what Devin said. Like he said, this is a different generation. So I work in the school system, and the kids nowadays are totally different than what I was accustomed to when I was in school. And it's like that generation is geared towards the internet. They're geared towards looking at other things, where in our generation, our parents were much more in tune with us. Now it's just like, you have this, you have that, you have that. And as parents, we are like maybe taking a step back because they do have all that internet and all that other stuff that is affecting their minds. So it's just that process, like, okay, how can I take away the internet, but also incorporate you into something that I have to instill in you to be better, because it is a different generation, but we have to understand that, hey, some of these things are going to be valuable to you. I'm not trying to push it on you, but some of these things have to take some precedence over other things. So
One of the things that I was asking my children is that my wife and everybody says that I come home and I look for stuff. I mean, I'm, special forces. I can see a piece of paper like 12 feet away, and to me, it's something. But I would love to really come home and everything is done. I remember Sean says, man, I would love to come home and my spouse or my partner standing at the door with the naked legs and saying, here it is. I ain't got to do no work. I would love to come home and things will be right. I'm not saying they got to stay right, but now I can go down the bed or downstairs or upstairs and not come in here. Okay, now I got to do some cups. Okay, now I got to take this and wipe the refrigerator down. Okay, somebody in the doggone pop the microwave. Now I got stuff off. I would love to come home and not do that. And I know, here's the deal. They see it like I see it. It's not like it all of a sudden I'm home and now it appeared. It's been there all the time. My thing is what you were saying, Walter. I just need an effort. I don't care if you didn't get it all. Show me some soap still left in the border. Show me a smear mark where you wiped it. That's all I'm saying.
I'm wondering what the kids would love. What would you love to happen when your dad come home? Go ahead.
Oh, man.
Well, like how he just said, he would love to come home and everything is done. What would you love? Come on.
It ain't gonna bite you. Come on,
Yeah,
say it.
Yep. You're in the hot seat, buddy.
Nothing coming up for you? Okay, it's fine. What would you love?
Shoot, I love to just quietness, just as much as y'all just don't want to hear really too much for real. I just want to go home, just do what I do, and y'all do what y'all do. Like nothing, but I'm just saying, like if all the housework was done, that's what I love. Just as much as y'all, just no quietness, no telling me the trash that be done.
If the dad is coming home and that's not done, that's the only reason why you're getting feedback.
Right.
So watch what would happen.
Okay.
He would say at 4 o'clock, did you check the mail?
Supposed
Right.
to be done.
Right?
Okay.
Well, the mail don't run sometimes just say till 5. So now you got the kid going out like, dang, he tripping about the mail, and then he go to the mailbox. Now he mad because he like, ain't no mail in there. You know what I'm saying? But it's the simple stuff, because all you really have to do is say, did you check the mail? All right, just go check it. Everything don't have to be. That's all I'm saying. Because he would even think I don't care. I'm just like, it's not that serious.
But you know what?
Go ahead.
The mothers always feel that way.
Yes.
For real. I'm not saying that, but the wives have always feel that way, like it's not that serious. But the thing is, when we come home from work, when the husband come home from work, and you got ketchup on the counter and what you call it, jelly on the cabinet, on the white cabinet, or you got honey on the floor, and you're stepping in that sticky stuff, I'm sure that we ain't the only one that noticed that sticky stuff is on. And when you grab the refrigerator handle and you got that crust back there, and you come in the house, and your family sitting down like this, right? While you come in like, I'm grabbing the refrigerator door like, oh, you know what I'm saying, like.
None of that.
But everybody is, you know what I'm saying? But like,
What you mean?
you know, I feel
I'm
like,
ready to go there. I'm getting ready to go there. Whoa.
None of that. If you come into our house, I promise you, like for real, our house is always guest ready. Not to him though, because he got to shine the floor.
well,
you know what I'm saying?
see, that's
why
the thing
is
though.
it ready?
Because you keep it like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But
See,
he
that's what
keep
I'm
it like
saying.
that,
See,
so he expect for it to be like that when he get back home. You know what I'm saying? We all live in the same house. Yeah. We all got to participate into keeping it guest ready.
Dishes, and it's nothing but food.
But
They
let me-
wash the dishes, but the soap and the food is still at the building because they just done pulled the plug and went upstairs. It's done. Dish is done.
So let me
But the
just
sink
make
is
sure,
jacked.
let me just make sure I say this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about, and it's not all women, right? Because I know that when a woman is single, she usually is more, you know what I'm saying, strict, because there has to be some balance in our
Right.
Yes.
But one of the things I look in our home is not that we don't care about the same thing. It's all about the approach. Because I can tell the kids the same exact thing, they going to get it. They're going to go ahead and do it. I'm at peace. They not in their feelings. The job is done.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So when Sam come to me and say, they don't care nothing about me, and he ain't doing what I said okay, let's break this down.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying, you said to our son or our daughter, go get this, and they said no? That
Right.
never happened.
Right.
But
Right.
the thing is that I want the family and the audience to understand, and you said a key word. It'll get done.
Right.
I'm saying it should be done.
Okay.
That's the difference.
Okay.
Especially if you want to kick back.
Right. Right.
See,
Right.
if you
Right.
kick back and it's done, I ain't got nothing to say.
Right.
I used to, like you would say, he going around partying and stuff. No. I wants to come home, look at something, not look in the microwave, not go behind the film. I go, damn, is this what, butter? Or what
Right,
the hell?
right, right.
I'm trying to guess
Right.
to see
And-
what the hell this is.
And I'm not trying. I'm not trying to hold on. I'm not trying to say my house is dirty because my house is always clean.
Right.
It's just the little things that you know what I'm saying that bothers me, like stuff on the floor, you know what I'm saying, and stuff on behind the refrigerator door because somebody forgot to wash their hand or wipe their hands off
Absolutely.
before they grab the
That's
refrigerator
an
door.
irritant.
And
That's-
that's what I would do if I seen that.
Right.
I'd be like, wait,
Right.
ain't nobody watch this.
Yeah.
Who? And I don't care what kid is there. Hey, come down here and get this.
Right.
That's it. I'm
Right.
not mad about it.
Right.
I'm just talking about the adrenaline that takes place. You know that adrenaline he just said we can die for?
Right.
I'm talking about that adrenaline that takes place because
Right.
somebody didn't wipe something.
Right.
Didn't
Absolutely.
take out the trash. I'm saying, listen, hey,
Right.
go get that. It's just as simple as that.
Now,
Go do it.
now, I understand exactly what Sam is saying, and like, and I have said similar things where I was like, okay, well, go ahead, go take care of this, take care of that. Now, given like however the body language is, like if the kid body language is like, oh, I don't really want it. Now it changes to,
Right.
okay, you're gonna do that now,
Right.
or you're gonna lose privileges, you're gonna lose stuff. Now it flips.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like, okay, if you're showing me the body language that you're not willing to work together because it's a team effort.
Right.
You know, like
Right.
at least that's the way how I express it to the kids and to everyone. Like, you know, we're a team. Like everyone has their different jobs and roles to play. Sometimes people slip up. Sometimes people forget things.
Right.
But if we all work together, it's not hard. Everybody and that one person is not doing everything.
Right.
And so that's what that's the way how I try to
agree with
keep
that.
it.
I can get to that.
But if people are not willing to be parts of the team or don't want to help out or don't want to do things, then now it becomes a different type of thing. And now it's like, okay, listen, like you live here, you're going to help,
Right.
you know, or you're going to lose privileges and not have everything that everybody else has.
And I haven't done privilege taking in a while. I
Yeah.
haven't got there because pretty much, okay, I've addressed it. He's tired. He's going to football practice. He's trying to study. Okay, I make ways for that. But I
Right.
shouldn't have come back the next day and the same dishes are still in the same spot.
Right.
I shouldn't have to do that, and so that's why I begin to internalize it. It may not be right or fair,
Right.
but I internalize that, saying, "Damn, you waiting for me to
Yeah.
come in here and do the dishes again
Right.
while you remain sitting, while you remain this here?" No.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Now, at one point in time, we were young men, right?
And we got
Did you ever
five
play
more.
sports? Did you play sports, play football? You had practice, you had school, you had your studies. You probably had no. I'm just saying. Like, do you remember? You had chores and stuff you had to do, right?
Done.
Right, and then guess what? You had all your stuff done, did everything you had to do, and was in bed by a certain time because you had to be up early in the morning to either possibly walk to school or maybe catch a bus, right?
More likely walk.
Right. One more likely, okay, walk to school or however.
Okay.
Now, I remember I had to do a similar type of thing. Like, my father was more or less like drill sergeant. Like, this going to be like this, it's going to be done like this. If it's not done this way, it's not right.
Right.
Right, and, he'll come in, rub a finger across the top of
Oh yeah.
no, this room ain't clean. I mean, look, so that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. All right.
I'll be messing up some gloves.
So I remember growing up in a different type of era, like at least like for me.
Right.
So, like when I look at like my kids and other kids and like how they how they deal with things, I kind of feel like that. Now, I'm not trying to. Maybe I could be biased, but I'll be feeling like, man, like these kids got it pretty good. Like, yeah, man, like it wasn't. Yeah, man, like man, no, like no, and if it wasn't done by the time a certain time hit, and somebody came home, oh man, it was ain't nowhere to hide, ain't nobody to run to. It's you know what time it is.
There's so many elements.
Why do it have to be done by a certain time? Like, what's gonna happen? Like,
Nothing is going to happen, but it's a place of okay, you see it, you know it's there. If you don't do that for your own stuff, it don't happen next week. I grow up and I start paying attention to detail. That don't happen.
right. Yeah.
And this is what I basically be trying to teach my son. Pay attention to detail. You do it in football, you do it in basketball. If you see the wide outs coming down on you, you know it's going to be an outside run. They're going to sweep. You got to look at that.
Yeah.
And so that type of knowledge or that type of information transcends not just in sports, but in life itself.
Now watch this, yo.
Okay.
Now we have an older child, right? Now, one of the things I like, because we always talk about there was no manual to be parents, right? There's no
Right.
manuals to be kids. And so I look at, what did I do? First I started looking at my grandmother and her siblings and looking at how they raised their kids. Then I said, okay, well, what did I do with my oldest son? You know, and one of the things our oldest son said to my husband is, you were right, Dad. It was your delivery that messed me up.
Yep.
So my thing is, if we know that from the oldest child, and I want to be effective, I don't just want to be right. Because I can be right in what I'm saying and in my stance, but be wrong in my delivery.
Yep.
And if I'm not effective, I really don't care what you're talking about or what I'm talking about.
Right.
I'm trying to be effective.
Got that
Period.
part.
So if every time you're talking to me, it's about something, I'm wondering like, dang, Dad, like I am a human. You know what I'm saying? I got feelings.
Right.
Like everything got to be something.
Right.
And that's what I think a lot of parents miss.
Mm.
That part. Because I just want to be effective. I remember our oldest son, he used to always get on him about his shoes. I'm grateful that his shoes was there. That means he was home safe.
Right.
And I remember saying to him, if something happened to my son, because he had to leave his house because he couldn't stand being in his house with you, we not going to be together. Because for me, I'm like, this don't even make sense. You crying that the shoes are in the middle of the floor or wherever it is. I'm just grateful that the shoes is there.
Got that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying I can just go a little
But
deeper,
here's
but
another
I
point.
get
We're getting
it.
ready to get out.
Mhm.
Here's a point. I'm saying to my son, of all places that you can put your shoes, why right there?
But it shouldn't be an argument.
Right.
Hey babe, get your shoes and get out of there. It should know everything don't have to be a 10.
Right.
Right, I
That's
can
all I'm
understand
saying,
that.
yeah.
There are some mistakes that have been made, but the fact of the matter that then a lot of times we're looking for somebody to put the honey and the sugar and everything on life itself. And a lot of times people are not going to give honey and sugar.
Right.
They're going to have expectations. Listen, you're a man, you this, you get that done. Now, if you want me to say, oh, can you do this for me? Especially if you know that it should be done. That's And I can't help that. That may be a generation, that may be a character flaw in all of that, and I can accept that. I can accept that, but still, there still has to be an initiative to want to get that done or to want to get it done right. It just don't, we as men, we didn't flick that switch. Okay, I'm a man now. I'm 21, I'm a man now. Now I can process, now I can handle responsibilities. No, it doesn't happen that way.
I think that's where the communication barrier is. Because you think, remember we're talking about the route.
Yes.
Right? We got the same goal and the same destination.
Right.
I'm just talking about how we get there.
Right.
I'm talking about the delivery. And oftentimes the back and forth in the disagreement
Yeah.
can be about the delivery. And you can make it seem as if we don't have the same destination in mind.
Right.
So I'm not saying, oh, just be sweet talking, sugar and honey and all that stuff. You know, I'm not saying that. I'm still talking about the delivery, y'all.
Right.
You gotta make sure you understand. Don't ignore the delivery because you want to be right. You don't pay attention to that.
You are absolutely right, and because I know that, like for me, at least for me, and like from my childhood, me growing up, I noticed that a lot of different things. Like my father had the right, like it was the right idea. but as far as like the delivery and the way how things went, wasn't necessarily right. And so, me as an adult and having kids now, I've taken that and I look at that and so even if I have to let's say even if I have to reprimand or take something away or something like that, I make sure I talk to my kid though as well and explain to them what's going on. Like, listen, like, okay, you weren't turning in your work, you got an F. You got an F, so that means that when you until you're able to pull this grade back up, you're gonna be on punishment. You're gonna lose some privileges. You know, so well, I don't feel like that was fair. You don't feel like it was fair. Okay, well, you knew what it was you were supposed to do. You did not do what you were supposed to do. These are the repercussions of your actions because you have to learn from your actions. Because as an adult out here, you make certain decisions. Like there is no it's gonna cost you. It can cost a lot, and so I don't know. So I feel like that as far as delivery, like you guys were saying, as far as communication, as far as making certain that you communicate and you do things in a proper way, I feel like that it can be effective. It can work, and yeah, that's
And
that.
even with the different topics, right?
Yeah.
The same thing comes back to effective communication and paying attention to that internal dialogue. Because what you're telling yourself can either cause you to destroy it or build it. Pay attention to what, no matter what it is, whether it's you and your spouse, you and your children, what you say to yourself is way more important and powerful than what even your spouse or your child may say or do. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to that.
I agree with
Right?
that. I can receive that.
Okay? So thank you all for watching. Again, are y'all coming back next week or we taking a break?
What do you guys want to do?
Next week. I'll be out of town next week.
Oh, yeah.
You out of town?
And you here?
Yes, I
We
definitely.
can bring a close and tell everybody next week that'll be the final part. You're gonna go back to Story of Heroes, doing.
We're going to take a break because we got a lot of other stuff going on.
Okay.
Okay.
So thank you guys for watching. But if it's some men who want to be in the audience, just come. They're here on Thursday, 7:15, before us to get prepared for the airing. But definitely, I've seen some women saying that their husbands, of course, the women saying their husbands need to be in the room. But yeah, so
So
men
if we
are
do
welcome.
it last week, next week
So we can do next week.
is
Yeah,
the last week.
yeah, and then we're gonna take a break and then come back.
Next week is the last week.
Okay.
Take a break and then come back. All right. So thank you all for your comments, your and watching. Thank you. All right. Good job, gentlemen.
Good job. Good job. Absolutely.
That was good. That was good. Got
It was
deep.
like fast.